Welcome back, queens. Have you ever watched someone play with something precious, tossing it aside like it was just another toy? Have you ever given your heart, your love, your trust, only to realize that he never saw it for what it was? He treated your feelings like a game, testing your patience, pushing your limits, seeing how far he could go before you would break. He thought he could lie, manipulate, disappear and reappear whenever he wanted. And he expected you to stay, to wait, to keep loving him no matter how many times he made you question yourself. But here's where his fun ends. Because now it's his turn to suffer. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." And that is exactly what you are about to do. You are not going to cry. You are not going to beg. You are not going to waste another second of your life trying to understand why he did what he did. You already know. He played games because he never thought he would lose. He thought he had control, that he could string you along, that no matter what, you would always be there, loving him, choosing him, forgiving him. But he was wrong, because the moment you decide to stop playing, the moment you remove yourself from his little game, that is the moment he starts losing. Think of a puppet master. He holds the strings, making the puppet dance, controlling every move. But what happens when the strings are cut? The puppet falls. The show is over. And that is exactly what is about to happen. The moment you step back, the moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop giving him the satisfaction of your pain, he will feel it. He will feel the absence of your love, your warmth, your energy. And for the first time, he will realize he was never in control. He was only powerful because you allowed him to be. Right now, he might think he's won. He might believe that walking away, keeping you guessing, playing with your heart, makes him stronger. But time is cruel to men who take love for granted, because love is not a game. Love is a force, a power. And the moment he loses yours, the moment he sees you no longer waiting, no longer hurting, no longer breaking over him, that is the moment reality will crush him. A man only realizes the depth of what he had when he's forced to live without it. He may chase after temporary distractions, trying to convince himself that he doesn't miss you, that he doesn't need you. But deep down, when the excitement fades, when the illusion shatters, when he is left alone with nothing but the echoes of what used to be, that is when he will feel the full weight of his mistake. And by then, you will be too far ahead for him to ever reach again. Because now it is your turn to rise, your turn to take every ounce of pain and turn it into power, your turn to step into the version of yourself that no longer begs, no longer waits, no longer allows anyone to treat her like an option. This is where everything changes, because you are not here to be played with. You are not here to prove your worth to a man who was too blind to see it in the first place. You are not here to chase after someone who never deserved you. You are here to reign. A queen does not lower herself for a man who cannot recognize her value. A queen does not waste time explaining why she is worthy. A queen does not wait for a man to realize what he lost. She moves forward. She builds. She glows. She becomes untouchable. And that is the most painful lesson he will ever learn. Because the moment you stop playing, the moment you cut the strings, the moment you take back your power, he will feel it like a storm he never saw coming. He will look for you in every woman he meets, trying to find even a piece of what he once had with you. But no one will compare, because love like yours does not happen twice. He had his chance, he had his moment, and now it's gone. Queens, this is the moment you reclaim everything he tried to take from you. Your confidence, your peace, your happiness, your power. No more questioning, no more waiting, no more breaking yourself for a man who was never worthy in the first place. You are done playing. Now let him suffer the silence, the regret, the loss. Let him watch you rise so high that he has no choice but to look up and know, deep in his soul, that he lost something irreplaceable. And by then, he will understand what he never did before. It was never a game. It was never a competition. It was love. And he was foolish enough to let it go. Number 1. The fire he took for granted now burns beyond his reach. Have you ever seen a fire burn so bright that it lights up everything around it? It gives warmth, it gives light, it gives life. But what happens when that fire is ignored? When someone stands too close, taking its warmth for granted, believing it will always burn just for him. He thought your love would always be there, always waiting, always ready to pull him back in. But fire does not beg to be noticed. Fire does not stay where it is not respected. And now that fire is beyond his reach, and he is left in the cold, feeling the absence of something he never thought he could lose. Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, suffering tests brave men." And right now, he's about to be tested. He walked away thinking you would stay, thinking your love was a flame that would never die out, no matter how many times he ignored it. But what he failed to understand is that fire, when left unattended, does not disappear. It spreads, it grows, it rises, it turns into something unstoppable. And now, the very thing that once warmed him has turned into a blaze too powerful for him to ever touch again. He expected you to be the fire that waits, the one that never leaves, the one that keeps burning, even when he turned his back. He thought he could come and go as he pleased, that no matter what, you would still be there, glowing softly, waiting for him to return. But now he sees the truth. That fire did not die. It did not weaken. It did not fade. It became something greater. And now he stands in the shadows, watching what he once had, knowing he can never have it again. Think of a lighthouse standing tall against the storm. It shines, guiding, protecting, standing strong. But when a man chooses to sail away, ignoring its light, believing he can find something better in the dark, he soon realizes his mistake. Because out there, beyond the glow, there is nothing but emptiness. And by the time he turns back, by the time he finally understands that the light was what kept him safe, the lighthouse is no longer his to claim. It still stands, brighter than ever, but not for him. This is what he will feel when he looks at you now. He will remember the way you loved him, the way you stood by him, the way your presence was the warmth he never appreciated. He will compare every woman to you, searching for the fire he once had. But fire like yours does not come twice. He had his chance, he had his moment. And now he is left in the cold, watching from a distance, knowing that what he lost is gone forever. But this is not just about him. This is about you. You are not the woman who waits in the ashes, hoping he will return. You are not the one who dims her light for a man who was too blind to see it. You are fire. You are power. You are rising into a version of yourself that no longer burns for him, but for yourself. And that, queens, is the most painful lesson he will ever learn. Because now he is the one left shivering in the emptiness of his own choices, while you shine so brightly that he cannot even look directly at you. The time for sadness is over. The time for doubting yourself is done. You are not just moving on, you are rising, transforming, becoming the woman who no longer needs his validation, his attention, or his love to feel complete. The fire he took for granted is now the fire that will blind him with regret. And that is his suffering to bear. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I am the fire he can never touch again. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done chasing, done proving your worth. If this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the unstoppable power within you, like this video and subscribe. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, to remind you that you were never meant to be small. You were meant to reign. Number 2. The echo of your silence will haunt him, louder than any words ever could. Have you ever noticed how silence can be the loudest sound of all? How the absence of words, the absence of a voice, can echo deeper than any scream. He expected anger. He expected begging. He expected one last desperate attempt to hold on to what he so carelessly tossed aside. But instead, he got something far worse. He got silence. And now, that silence follows him everywhere. It lingers in the spaces where your love once filled the air. It creeps in when he's alone, when the distractions fade, when there is no noise left to drown out what he lost. He played his games, thinking he would always win. But now it's his turn to suffer. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." And right now, he's beginning to realize what he was not. He was not the man he should have been for you. He took you for granted, believing that no matter how many times he pushed you away, you would come running back. But the moment you chose silence, the moment you removed your presence, you took away the one thing he thought he controlled, your attention. And that is what will break him. Think of an echo in an empty room. When there is noise, voices, movement, it is hidden. But the moment everything stops, the moment silence takes over, that echo becomes unbearable. That is what is happening to him now. The messages he once ignored, they no longer appear. The late-night calls he once dismissed, they no longer come. The love he once thought would always be there, it is gone. And now he is left with nothing but his own choices, his own mistakes, and the hollow realization that he lost something irreplaceable. Right now, he believes he can replace you. He believes that silence means nothing, that time will erase the weight of your absence. But time does not heal the wounds of a man who realizes too late. Because one day, when he least expects it, something will remind him of you. A song, a place, a scent. And in that moment, the silence will hit him harder than any words ever could. He will reach for his phone, thinking for just a second that he can still find you there. But he won't, because the woman who once waited, the woman who once gave him everything, has now given herself something far more important: freedom. Queens, this is the moment you take back your power. This is the moment you stop giving him the satisfaction of knowing you are still waiting. Because you are not. You are not the woman who begs. You are not the woman who explains her worth to a man who should have seen it from the beginning. You are the woman who walks away with her head held high, knowing that the greatest lesson you will ever teach him is the weight of your absence. He thought you needed his validation. He thought you needed his attention to feel whole, but he never realized the truth. You were already whole before he came into your life, and you are even stronger now that he is gone. This is not just about silence. This is about power. The power of not reacting. The power of not giving him the closure he never gave you. The power of letting him sit with his own decisions while you move forward. Untouchable, unshaken, unstoppable. One day he will want to reach out. He will want to know if you still think about him, if you still feel anything, but all he will find is silence, and that silence will scream louder than any words ever could. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My silence will say what my words never could. Let him feel it. Let him regret it. And while he suffers in the echoes of what he lost, you will be rising, thriving, and stepping into the life you were always meant to live. And if this message awakened something inside you, if it reminded you of the strength you have always had, like this video and subscribe. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, to remind you that you were never meant to chase. You were meant to reign. Number 3. He played chess. While you were the queen, and now the game is over. Have you ever watched a man play a game he thought he had already won? He moves his pieces, thinking he's always one step ahead, believing he has full control over how things end. He pushes, he pulls, he manipulates, convinced that you will always follow his lead. He played his game like chess, calculating every move, waiting for your reaction, making you question your own worth. But what he forgot, what he never saw coming, was that you were never just another piece on his board. You were the queen. And now, the game is over. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." Right now, he thinks he has won, that he walked away victorious, that his little tricks and mind games left you broken, confused, and longing for him. But he has no idea what is coming, because loss does not belong to you. It belongs to him. The moment you step out of his game, the moment you refuse to be played, the moment you rise into something stronger, something untouchable, he will feel the loss that he never thought was possible. Think of a chessboard, a game of strategy, power, and control. He moved his pieces with confidence, thinking he was in charge, thinking you would always follow his lead. He pushed you away, pulled you back, made you doubt your next move. But what happens when the queen stops playing? The game collapses. The board is empty. The one who thought he had control is now standing alone, staring at the pieces he can no longer move, realizing that his power was never real. It only existed because you allowed it. Right now, he believes he can replace you. He believes that there will always be another woman ready to play along, to fall into the same pattern, to give him the same love, the same devotion, the same patience you once did. But he does not understand the truth yet. Queens are not replaceable. A queen does not chase, does not beg, does not stay in a game where she is not respected. And the moment he realizes that, that's when he will feel it. The emptiness, the regret, the loss. He may try to distract himself, convincing himself that he never really needed you. He may run to another woman, hoping she can fill the void. But deep down, in the quiet moments, when there is no game left to play, when he is left alone with his own thoughts, that is when it will hit him. You were never just another move. You were the foundation of everything. And now, he will never have access to you again. This is not about revenge. This is not about proving anything to him. This is about you. This is about stepping into your power, about realizing that you were never a player in his game. You were always the one who held the real strength. And now, that strength belongs to you, not him. Queens, hear this truth. The moment you walk away, you win. The moment you decide that your life is too valuable, your love is too rare, your energy is too sacred to be wasted on a man who played games with your heart. That is the moment he truly loses, because he did not just lose a woman, he lost the one woman who could have changed his life, and that is a loss he will never recover from. Now, it's time. Time to rise. Time to step into your full power. Time to take every ounce of pain and turn it into something unstoppable. He thought he could play you, but he played himself. Because now, you are untouchable, unshakable, and undeniable. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. I was never a piece in his game. I am the queen, and the game is over. Let the world know that you are done playing, done proving, done waiting. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the power that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, to remind you of your worth, and to make sure that you never forget. You were never meant to be played. You were meant to reign. Number 4. The road back to you is now a path. He cannot walk. Have you ever noticed how some people treat love like a revolving door? How they walk away so easily, believing they can come back whenever they want, as if your heart is a place they can leave and return to at their convenience? He thought he had that kind of power over you. He believed that no matter how much he disrespected you, no matter how many times he made you feel like you were not enough, he could always find his way back. He thought that love meant he had options, but what he never realized is that some doors, once closed, are locked forever. And now, the road back to you, it is a path he cannot walk. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a person perfected without trials." This moment, this pain, this betrayal, this heartbreak, it is not your downfall. It is the fire that will forge you into something untouchable. Because while he was busy playing games, thinking he could keep you on hold, he never once considered that you could outgrow him, that you could rise so high, evolve so much, that even if he tried to return, he would no longer recognize the woman you have become. Think of a bridge. A bridge is strong, stable, unshakable, allowing passage between two places. You built that bridge with your love, your patience, your loyalty. But he took it for granted. He walked across it carelessly, never thinking about what would happen if it disappeared. And now, that bridge is gone, burned, destroyed. And when he finally realizes what he lost, when he desperately looks for a way back, all he will find is empty space, a gap he can never cross. Right now, he thinks he still has time. He thinks that if things don't work out with the one he left you for, he can just turn around and find you waiting. He expects you to be the same, still longing for him, still hoping he will come back. But what he does not understand is that the woman he left behind no longer exists. You have changed. You have grown. And the version of you that once cried for him, that once begged for his love, that once waited for him to choose you, that version is gone. He lost you the moment he thought you were replaceable. A man only truly realizes what he had when it is no longer within his reach. He will look for you in every woman he meets. He will search for your kindness, your depth, your strength, only to find that no one else holds the same fire. He will replay the moments he ignored, the messages he left unanswered, the love he took for granted. And as time passes, as the weight of his own choices settles in, he will understand the painful truth. He did not just lose you, he lost the best thing that ever happened to him. But this is not about him anymore. This is about you, about your power, about stepping into a life where you no longer wait to be chosen, because you have already chosen yourself. Queens do not beg to be loved. They do not chase after men who walked away. They rise, they rebuild. They become so strong, so radiant, so powerful, that by the time a man realizes his mistake, he is nothing more than a forgotten lesson in the story of their greatness. Let him feel the emptiness. Let him live with the regret. Let him see you move on, unbothered, untouchable, because the road back to you, it no longer exists. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. The road back to me no longer exists. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done proving, done breaking yourself for a man who never deserved you. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the fire that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, bringing you the truth, the power, and the lessons that will set you free. Because you were never meant to be an option. You were meant to reign. Number 5. He traded gold for glitter, and now he lives with dust. Have you ever watched someone throw away something priceless, thinking they could find something better, only to end up with nothing? Have you ever seen a man hold gold in his hands, study it, admire it, and then toss it aside for a handful of glitter? At first, he thought he made the right choice. The glitter looked exciting, new, different. But now the shine is gone, the illusion is broken, and all that remains in his hands is dust. And the gold he once had, it's no longer his to claim. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A fool is known by his actions," and that is exactly what he was. A fool. He had something rare, something real, something most men will never be lucky enough to find. He had a woman who loved him deeply, who stood by him, who poured her energy, her soul, her heart into him. But instead of cherishing that, instead of recognizing the worth of what he had, he let himself be distracted. He thought he could do better. He thought he could replace something priceless with something easier. But gold does not beg to be seen. Gold does not lower its value just because a fool cannot recognize it. Right now, he may still be pretending he is happy. He may be showing off what he chose, convincing himself that he made the right decision. But time is cruel to men like him, because what he does not realize yet is that glitter is just a trick of the light. It does not last. It fades. It washes away. It crumbles at the first touch of reality. And one day, when the excitement wears off, when he finally sees things clearly, when he reaches for something solid and finds nothing but emptiness, that is the moment he will understand what he lost. And by then, it will be too late. Think of a man in the desert, thirsty, desperate for water. He sees an oasis in the distance, runs toward it, believing he has found what he needs. But when he gets there, he realizes it was nothing but a mirage, an illusion. And behind him, the real oasis, the one that could have saved him, has disappeared from sight forever. That is exactly what is happening to him. He walked away, chasing something that was never real, and now he will spend the rest of his life trying to quench a thirst that can never be satisfied. But this is not about him anymore. This is about you, because you were never just an option. You were never just another woman. You were the gold he foolishly threw away. And now it is time to step into that truth. It is time to stop questioning why he made the choice he did. It is time to stop wondering what she has that you don't. She has nothing. She is the glitter that will fade. She is the distraction that will leave him empty. But you are the prize. And a man who cannot see your worth does not deserve another chance to hold you. Queens, hear this. Gold does not chase. Gold does not cry over the hands that let it go. Gold does not lower itself for a man who could not see its value. And you do not wait. You do not beg. You do not break over a man who was too blind to recognize the treasure he had. Because now you rise. Now you shine so brightly that when he finally looks back, when he finally sees the difference between what was real and what was an illusion, the only thing left for him will be regret. One day he will try to come back. He will reach for you, thinking he can fix what he broke. But when that moment comes, you will already be too far ahead. You will be untouchable, radiant, unstoppable. Because this is not your loss, this is your victory, and his suffering, it has only just begun. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. I was the gold, he was the fool who let it go. Let the world know that you are done questioning, done proving, done waiting. Because while he is left with nothing, you are stepping into everything. And if this message lit a fire inside you, if it reminded you of who you are, like this video and subscribe. Number 6. You were his safe harbor, but he chose the storm. Now, let him drown. Have you ever noticed how some people destroy the very thing that was keeping them safe? How a man can have something steady, something rare, something that holds him up through every storm, and still throw it all away for chaos. You were his calm, his peace, his safe harbor. You stood by him when no one else did. You were the one place where he could rest, where he was understood, where he was loved without conditions. But he didn't see it. He took it for granted, and instead of holding on to the best thing that ever happened to him, he ran straight into the storm. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." And what was his ambition? To chase the unknown, to play games, to test limits, to see what else was out there, never realizing that what he already had was more valuable than anything he would ever find. He thought the storm would excite him. He thought the chaos would make him feel alive. But storms don't care who they destroy. And now he is out there, fighting the waves, struggling to stay afloat, lost in the very mess he chose over you. Think of a shipwreck. A man sails into the unknown, believing he will find something greater, something better. He ignores the warnings, ignores the steady land behind him, and sails straight into danger. The storm comes, the waves rise, the wind howls, and before he knows it, his ship is torn apart. Now he is drowning, reaching, searching for the safe place he abandoned. But it's gone. The harbor he once had, the home he once knew, is no longer his to return to. That is exactly what is happening to him now. Right now, he might not realize it. He might still believe he made the right choice. But soon, the weight of his own decisions will crash down on him. The moment will come when he looks around and sees that everything he once took for granted is gone. The loyalty, the love, the patience, vanished. He will compare, he will regret, he will wonder why nothing else feels the same. And by then, it will be too late. Because you are no longer standing on that shore, waiting for him to return. You are not the woman who begs, who waits, who hopes he will wake up and see your worth. That woman is gone. And in her place, a woman who has risen beyond his reach. A woman who no longer breaks for a man who was too weak to stand beside her. A woman who knows that she was never meant to be an anchor for someone who didn't want to stay. This is your moment. The moment you take back everything he thought he could walk away from. The moment you stop looking back and start building forward. The moment you stop mourning what was lost and start celebrating what is about to begin. You are not his safety net. You are not his second choice. You are not a place he can return to when the storms get too strong. You are the storm. You are the force of nature that will no longer be ignored, no longer be taken for granted. no longer be dimmed for the sake of a man who never deserved your light in the first place. Let him struggle, let him drown in the choices he made. Let him feel the cold, the emptiness, the regret. Because the greatest lesson a man can ever learn is that once a woman like you is gone, she is gone forever. He thought he could test you, push you, see how much you could take. But what he didn't expect was that one day you would walk away. And when that day came, that was the day he lost everything. Queens, this is not your ending, it is your transformation. You are not the woman who waits in the background, hoping he will return. You are the woman who moves forward, unshaken, unstoppable, untouchable. He had his chance, and now? Now you rise. Write this in the comments and claim it. I was his safe harbor, but now I am the storm. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done hoping, done breaking yourself for a man who never saw your worth. Number 7. He didn't just lose you. He lost the version of himself that you built. Have you ever noticed how a man only realizes the depth of what he had once it's too late? How he takes love, patience, and loyalty for granted, thinking it will always be there. He thought he could treat you as an option, come and go as he pleased, and you would still be there, loving him, forgiving him, holding space for him. But what he never saw coming was this. He didn't just lose you. He lost the best version of himself, the version that only existed because you believed in him. Seneca once said, "A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is, and soon he will know exactly what that means. Right now, he may believe he's moved on. He may think he's better off without you, that he can find another love just as strong, just as deep. But what he does not realize is that he is not the same man he was when he had you. You were the reason he felt strong. You were the reason he believed in himself. And now? Now, he's left with nothing but the pieces of what he used to be. Think of a house standing tall, firm, unshaken by storms. But what happens when the foundation that holds it together is removed? Slowly, cracks begin to form, the walls weaken, and one day, when he least expects it, the entire structure collapses. That is exactly what is happening to him. He thought he built himself up, that he was strong enough on his own. But the truth? The strength he had came from you, the love you poured into him, the way you saw his potential, the way you stood by him when no one else did. That was his foundation. And now that it's gone, so is the man he once was. He might try to convince himself that he's fine, that he made the right decision, but the reality will hit him in the quiet moments, in the space where your love used to live. He will hear your words in his mind, remembering how you pushed him to be better. He will see your absence in the mirror, realizing that without you, he is not the same man. And when he looks around for someone else to fill that space, to rebuild what he lost, he will come up empty. Because no one else will ever believe in him the way you did. But you are not looking back. You are not wasting another moment mourning what could have been. Because now you see the truth. You were never the one who lost. You were the one who built, who gave, who uplifted. And now, it's your time to take that energy and pour it back into yourself. No more waiting. No more wondering if he will ever realize what he lost. Let him figure it out on his own. Let him sit with the weight of his own choices. Because, queens, that is how he will suffer. A queen does not beg for a man to recognize her worth. A queen does not wait for a man to wake up and see what he had. A queen rises, she builds, she thrives, and when he finally looks up, searching for the woman who once held him together, She is already too far ahead for him to reach. This is your moment. The moment you step into the life you were always meant to have. The moment you become untouchable, unstoppable, undeniable. Because the truth is, the best version of him only existed because of you. And now the best version of you will rise without him. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. He lost me, and with me, he lost the best version of himself. Let the world know that you are done looking back, done waiting, done hoping, because your power does not lie in his recognition. It lies in your own. Number 8. One day, he will search for you in every woman, and he will find you in none. Have you ever seen a man hold something precious in his hands and not realize its worth until it's gone? He had you. He had your love, your loyalty, your presence. But instead of cherishing it, he treated it like it was replaceable. He believed that if he walked away, he could find another woman just like you. He thought love like yours was common, that he could move on and easily replace what he once had. But now he is about to learn the hardest lesson of his life. One day he will search for you in every woman, and he will find you in none. Seneca once said, "What a man can lose, he never truly owns." And he lost you, not because you weren't enough, not because you lacked anything, but because he was blind to what he had. He played games, thinking you would always be there, thinking that no matter what he did, you would always love him the same way. But love does not work like that. Love is not a game. It is not a revolving door. It is not something a man can abandon and expect to find again when it's convenient for him. Right now, he believes he made the right choice. He believes that he can walk into another woman's arms and feel the same way he felt with you. But deep down, something is missing. At first, he won't understand it. He will try to convince himself that everything is fine, that this new woman can replace you. But over time, the cracks will begin to show. He will look at her and wonder why it doesn't feel the same. He will hold her hand and realize that it lacks the warmth he once knew. He will hear her laugh and feel a strange emptiness, because it doesn't light up his world the way yours did. Think of a man lost in the desert. He sees water in the distance and runs toward it, thinking he has found salvation. But as he gets closer, he realizes it was only a mirage, a cruel illusion that disappears the moment he reaches for it. That is exactly what is about to happen to him. He believed he was chasing something better. He believed he was upgrading, moving forward. But in the end, he will realize that he left behind the only thing that was real. And by the time he understands that, you will already be gone. Because now, it is not about him anymore. It is about you. It is about the woman who will no longer settle for half-hearted love. It is about the woman who will never again let a man make her feel like she has to compete, prove, or beg to be chosen. This is your turning point. This is where you stop looking back and start walking forward. You are not an option. You are not a placeholder. You are not a woman who waits for a man to realize her worth. A queen does not lower herself to be understood by a man who was too blind to see her value in the first place. A queen does not chase. A queen does not beg. A queen reigns. And now, it is your time. The time for heartbreak is over. The time for doubt is over. The time for questioning if you were enough is over. Because you were always enough. He just wasn't strong enough to hold on to something as rare as you. And while he searches, while he compares, while he lies awake at night, wondering why no other woman makes him feel the way you did, you will be too busy thriving. You will be building a life so powerful, so radiant, so untouchable, that when he finally realizes his mistake, The only thing left for him to do is watch. Queens, write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. He will search for me in every woman, but he will never find me again. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done proving, done hoping for a man who could not see your worth. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of your power, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, to remind you of your worth, and to make sure you never forget. You were never meant to be replaced. You were meant to reign.